In this video, I'm going to talk about the HTML semantic tags. So HTML5 has added some new tags that help us identify what parts of our web page are. In the past, we've used div tags and given them a name that has some meaning, but HTML5 has provided us tags that already contain the meaning, and we're going to go over those today. I'm going to use a really simple web page that doesn't have any style on it yet, so you can clearly see what we're going to be doing here. So this is really at the beginning where I just mainly have content, and now I'm adding structure. So one of the first heading tags that we're going to use is called a header tag. Notice this is different than the head tag. The header means that, okay, this is the main page of our part of our web page, right? At the heading, this might be considered a banner, and that's a header. And so there's the header tag to identify that. Then there is a nav tag that identifies where your navigation is. And so this is another tag. Here's my navigation list with local links to my other pages. And I'm simply going to surround that by nav tags. Now, I actually want my nav to be part of my header, so I'm going to pull that closing header tag down after the nav tag. And so now my header contains an H1 that identifies this as as the topmost heading, and then it also contains the nav section. So there's two of the semantic tags that HTML5 offers, the header tag and the nav tag. Then I went to identify my main content, and I'm going to do that with a tag, guess what, called main. There you go. And my main content is very large. So I'm going to come down to and take that closing main tag all the way down. Oh, here, right? Okay, right here is the end of my main tag. So, and then after that, I'm going to have a different type, and that's called the aside. So I'm going to have in my middle section, I'm going to have a variety of my main section, and then I'm going to have one that has information that is kind of secondary to my main content, and I'm going to put that in a tag called aside. And my aside also contains several things, and so it goes down quite a ways, and right there. Now, before I close my body, the last thing I want to put here kind of at the end is the footer tag. So this is also a new HTML5 tag that allows us to do a footer. And inside here you can put a variety of things. I'm simply going to put a paragraph that lists by Linda Hadway. Okay, there. I'm just going to put that this is maintained by Linda Hadway in my footer section. Now let's go back, and there's some other additional things. Well, first let's just take a break and look and notice that nothing has really changed on our web page. So these semantic tags don't change the visibility on our web page. So we're not seeing any changes here, but they give us access. It helps with the search engines to be able to identify the different components of your web page, as well as it'll give us the opportunity to change some styling on specific things by their meaning and position things where we want them. All right, inside my main portion, I have several sections. So section is a new HTML5 tag. And a section usually contains, it's just a way to divide your page, and it usually contains a header and some other information. And that's what this one does. It has a couple of paragraphs, a couple images, and it has that header. Now I have several sections, so I'm going to just simply, and sections are not standalone, they're kind of portions that go together to make a complete web page. Another one that divides it is an article. Now, article is more designed for something that could be transported to a different location or to a different web page. It's more of a standalone section. So this one section here, I'm going to consider an article that could be a standalone, is not dependent on the rest of the page. But these additional things are sections that really do require, they're just really part of this web page and don't stand alone on their own. So again, it has a heading and a closing section. Notice that I'm using heading 2s. I want them just a little bit less priority than that main heading. Also notice that in my article I used a heading 1. Now this is new also since HTML5. Oh, I've got heading 2, but I want to change, oh, there it is. There's my article. I want to change my article to heading 1. And I'm going to say this is the main heading for this article. And so because it's contained, let's go look at that on the web page. So here I have my main heading, Learning HTML, and there's my heading 2 for my first section. And I come down here to the heading 1 of the article section, and notice it's no bigger. So because of the layout of these semantic tags, the browser interprets this heading 1 as my main heading for the entire page, and it interprets this heading 1 as the main heading for this article, and gives it a smaller font. Now later I can go into CSS and I can set it to whatever I want, but by default the browser is responding to these semantic tags. All right, I'm going to do several sections. So here's another one. There's the opening section tag, and then my closing section tag right there before the end of my main. All right, now in that, now that I've got all of my main all identified, so I've put semantic tags around everything contained in the main. Now I want to move to my aside and do the same thing. So in my aside section, the very top thing, I'm actually going to have a header. And this header will just be the header for the aside section. Remember, I have the main header already up above, but I can use this inside my aside to create a header just for that. And then I'm going to have sections again. So here's one section, again with a heading. And oops, I left that there. I didn't mean to do that. And I'll have another section here and here. Now I'm just putting all the end ones in. And then I'll copy the beginning ones. All right, and I'm getting all these sections inside my aside section. Okay, and there I have, oh, those images to me feel like they need to be indented a little. Oh, and see, they're getting long, so now I want to, when they get long, I want to wrap those. Once they go past that 80 character column, then I want to push and enter at an attribute, right, somewhere to make it all fit so nicely. Okay, so there's semantic tags that are offered now by HTML5.